afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Saturday, August 24, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. Many of us, would like 100% guarantee that everything is going to be okay throughout our lives. Right? We want a golden parachute from God that says our entire future will be safe from harm, free from pain, and that we will always manifest our every desire and dream. We want to know for sure that this life is always working out for us in our favor, and we are guaranteed to a perfect, flawless future. Right? There's a lot of people like that. Doesn't make them bad people. The only problem with this golden parachute from God is that we also want a life that is brimming with excitement and overflowing with new fascinating adventures every day. We want a future that is free from boredom and filled with a spiritual richness that we are forever bathing in. The healing qualities of our very soul. Now, the real question is, would all of this be possible if there was no such thing as fear? Interesting question. Those of us who have done our inner research and look deeply into our personal relationship with fear, it might seem to be one of those slippery issues that we are either trying to cope with, ignore, transcend, or avoid at all costs. Many of us were told in our childhood that if we want to be happy, we need to conquer our fears. Yet nobody actually told us how to do it. Probably because they hadn't accomplished this amazing feat themselves. Perhaps because everyone has forgotten the truth on this planet that we are divine, eternal, spiritual beings who will never die. Ever die. Period. Now, I believe there's many out there that are still waiting for that magical formula that will free them from fear. Right? Many who have been waiting lifetimes for being freed from fear. Great quote, I've stated it before from Osho, that which can be taken away from you is not worth keeping, and that which cannot be taken away from you, why should one be afraid of its being taken away? It cannot be taken away. There is absolutely no possibility. You cannot lose your real treasure. Osho. What is your real treasure? Your pure consciousness. The God force, the source creator, all these names, right? It's you in that body, the pure consciousness. That's exactly what you are. Your pure consciousness. We call it God on this planet. Other planets call it other things. Why do you think or believe forever The lower dark matter frequencies have done everything and continue to do everything they can to keep us believing the opposite. Very apparent, isn't it? To believe the opposite means that you are and it's an illusion, okay, because we're always connected, but the illusion of being disconnected from the God that you are, at all costs. And we've been herded into a corral. And the fear is that we'll do whatever the handlers say for us to do because we're afraid of that electronic shock to our bodies every time we don't obey. And what is that in the form of? Fear. Fear is a thought that we all have. It's a thought. That's all it is. Till we give it power. Till we give it attention. Till we focus on it. Then it becomes something. Now, when you watch this theater going on, right? You're not in it, you're watching it. And when you watch something, you can see a lot of different things. When you're in it, you can't. You're not able to because you're in it. When you look outside of it, you can see all kinds of things that you wouldn't notice if you were in it. You'd be totally oblivious to it. So one might say, where does one begin? We've had all this training and all this programming. How do you maneuver out of this? It's all about you. You go within. Just like these meditations. They're very simple. They're not complicated at all. And you find a comfortable area for you, that you're comfortable. You begin to relax into the body. That's the only true way that you're going to relax, is relaxing into the body. You are as still as a statue, and you focus on your breath rising and falling. That's meditation. When you do that, there is no fear. All right? There is no unknown. There is no ego mind. All of that stuff is in the material physical world. When you decide, and you're the only one that can, for you, and you decide to step out of that, not with anger, okay, not with frustration, but it's kind of like, okay, I'm good with this. Now I'm going to go within. And then I'm going to discover who and what I am. And I'm going to embrace every aspect of myself, even things I've hidden for years that I never pay attention to with myself. This isn't about judging oneself. This is about beginning to love oneself. And many of us on this planet aren't anywhere near that. The only reason is because we're in the heavy grips of the ego mind and the material physical world. A heart-minded people would, none of the things that you're watching would be occurring. Period. None of it. It wouldn't happen. It wouldn't occur. There wouldn't be the basical material physical mindset. It wouldn't exist. So if that doesn't exist, how would it materialize? It wouldn't. How would fake elections materialize? It wouldn't. How would lies materialize? They wouldn't. You see how crucial it is? It's not something you can rush. A lot of people, they profess out there that, everything's going to be done for you. Everything's going to, you just kind of lay back and it'll all happen for you. Planet will be cleaned up. The baddies will be gone. Here's the silver platter. Well, we all know, those of us who are aware to a certain extent, that we wouldn't learn a smidgen from that direction. We wouldn't learn anything. Would we end up doing that? No. Because in the long run, we would discover the fact that why would we do that? We aren't going to learn anything. We're here to experience. We're eternal beings. So what's the fear? What is it? Why do we embrace this so much? The only reason that it exists is because we have no idea of who and what we truly are in these bodies. That's the only reason. As we transcend through choice, each and every one of us through choice, as we ascend, we move more and more into higher and higher vibrational frequencies. We leave behind, not with grudge or dissatisfaction, but easily surrender and leave behind all of the stuff, lifetime after lifetime, that we have been immersed in through the material physical world, of which we are part. We created it to entertain us and for us to experience. So it is. It's like a blank canvas that we continually create for ourselves in each lifetime. Many different things. So it's never ending. But you've got to be real careful from the standpoint or perspectives that don't allow yourself to go too far down there. And when I mean down there, I mean in the low frequencies. Anything can set you off. Doesn't have to be a big thing. It could be just a slight little hiccup, and you spiral into that lower frequency. None of us are exempt from it. We do it. But when you have an awareness, you can easily shift out before it gets out of control. You say, I don't care to spend my energies or my focus. I know what this is. I've done it many times in this lifetime and other lifetimes, and I really don't care to do it anymore. And you'll watch what happens. It'll just fade out. You'll move into the now. You'll move into a deep relaxation. The rest is history. You will learn, each of us will learn and comprehend the fact that there's nothing we need to chase in this life. Nothing. It's all been a disguise to distract us and trick us into what? Into a fear-based life. The reason things do not get, let's say, nipped in the bud by us is because we fear the unknown. We fear it rather than embracing it. Now, if you knew, really truly knew, that who and what you are, right down to your bone fiber, that you would never die. You're eternal. Infinity. How would you view everything? Right? How would you view everything? Now, the whole direction is that when your body, that you're in, gets up to speed with the God that you are within the body, and the only way it can cease is by your command. Wild, isn't it? To say you were in that, nothing could harm you. How would you be? It's kind of like a out there type of statement or question, but how would you really be? Would you live in the ego mind, knowing that the ego mind is an illusion and it's been put there for you to overcome it and master it, which is a great experience, would you continue to harbor yourself in ego mind or spend a majority of your time in heart mind? And see, there is a misunderstanding on this planet that heart-minded means that you're weak and passive and not strong and easily manipulated and controlled. Okay, so that's pretty much the consensus on this planet about heart-minded. Those are passive people. They're not aggressive. They don't take the upper hand. They don't force things and so on and so forth. The planet wouldn't exist with all heart-minded people. Well, that's all programming. Because in true reality, it's all the opposite of that. Tremendously powerful beings, knowing who and what we are within the body. We have created bodies that are immortal, so we eliminate this harm factor. Right? Now, we always will create instances and occurrences for ourselves that are challenging in different ways. And those things are created, and then, like the quote says, this too shall pass. And it is tough for many of us to not go there because we're drawn there. It's a heavy magnet. You ever felt that? It's just really strong. It pulls you. You're there. You got that rope and you're in a tug of war. And it wants to just yank you right over there. But yet, in deep eternal love with yourself, you go, I don't care to do that. And so what do? You let go of the rope. You surrender the rope. They fall back. That falls back on its keister, its hiney. And you move forward into deep eternal love, the now, peace, tranquility, benevolence. But does that take away your power? No. It increases it. Your awareness. The more you become aware, the more powerful you are. This civilization will learn that we were taught as slaves to chase everything, to go after everything, right? In the material physical world. When in actuality, whatever we focus on, we can have. But you can see how it's a step process. Many have tried to put the cart before the horse. In other words, accelerate the whole process and just have it done. Well, I could do this in a couple of weeks. And never got there. So we have this kind of like a stigmatism. Where a lot of people will think, well, the now seems so boring. What is, the now? What in the heck is the now? How can you exist only in the now? Yesterday and tomorrow sounds a lot more exciting. Okay, so this is what you get in yesterday and tomorrow. And this is what you get in the now. Now, do you want that mind chatter 24/7? Do you want tens of thousands of thoughts bombarding you 24/7 that aren't yours? Do you want an ego mind that masters you and is in charge of you throughout your entire lifetime? Do you want to have pain, suffering, disappointment, anger, hatred, deceit, manipulation, and greed for the rest of your life? Then stay in yesterday and tomorrow. Stay with the ego mind. It's your choice. Or begin to move out of it. There'll come a point on this planet into the future where the species will be meditating on a daily basis without, forming millions of people on the planet for one big meditation. That this doesn't work. It's got to be consistent, and it's got to be always. It's a lifestyle. It's part of our existence while we're in the material physical world. Not of it. And then things transcend. There won't be wars. There won't be conflicts. There won't be any of the stuff that exists now. It won't have any teeth. It won't have any claws. They will be dissolved. It will vanish. It'll melt away. And we, in communication one-on-one or in a group, will say that, hey, you remember when, they did this and they did that? Wow, how did they do that? Or someone walking in a store and shooting somebody for the money in the till to get a fix for drugs. Deviation of things, twisting of ethics, respect for oneself and those around you. All of these things. Morals. While we're in physical material world. What is the initiating effect on this planet in its current state now? What's the actual primer that continues to create it? The unknowingness, the pain, the suffering, the distractions, the lies, all of it. What perpetuates that? It's a civilization. Nothing else. Because of what we focus on. That's how powerful we are, but we don't know we're that powerful. And we deny that we're that powerful. So we focus on it. And we get used to focusing on it. So as long as we focus on it, it will be there and it will be created and it will take place. That's it. Okay? That's easy to do when you're in that controlled, trained environment like this planet is and has been. It's pretty much what? Run of the mill, right? You don't really give it any thought. You focus on something, whatever it may be, and it's manifested. It's like when you look at in this theater that you're watching, right? And you say, now if I focus on any part of this, I'm creating it. Exactly. The longer you focus on it, the more you create. It isn't about enemies. It isn't about some evil force. It's about you. And we perpetrate this. We create this. We create it all. Not like we're going, oh yeah, we're going to create all this nasty stuff. Not at all. But we're in such habit of gravitating towards lower dark matter frequencies without us being aware of it. Because we've been trained that way. Think the worst, not the best. And if you think the best, you get that little feeling that, wow, that won't happen. That's no way that'll happen. That's the best. That's the best case scenario. What do most people say? Well, worst case scenario is, right? Instead of focused on best case scenario. We don't have the confidence, trust, or faith in ourselves or the universe. That's why. That's why we slide into worst case scenario. And because we are focused on worst case scenario, we get worst case scenario. It isn't a debilitating thing. It is with ease, with gentleness and kindness with oneself and all around you, that you shift the vibrational frequencies of the atmosphere around you, within you, and outside of you. Because you're changing the frequencies. When you look at things and it is a deep eternal love for things, what do you think will take place? If you look at things as horrible, boring, sucky and this type, what do you think is going to take place? We talk about this a lot because we must talk about it a lot. It's not a parting fancy at all. It's a permanency that has been constructed with this civilization, and the only way that we are going to eliminate it is by awareness, not judgment, not self-ridicule or anything like that. That still keeps us in the lower vibrational frequencies. And it's really moving oneself into a habit of comprehending the fact that, what? I must be mindful of what I focus on, because you're so powerful. See, that's where I believe some of us are moving, where you say to yourself, now I must be mindful about this because I know I'm a powerful being in this body, so whatever I'm focused on, I must be careful. I must know what I'm focusing on, the reason why I'm focusing on it. And if it's something I don't care to have, why would I focus on it? So you say, I'm going to focus on what I want, not what I don't want. But most of us will be focused on what we don't want. And the only reason that is because we're ignorant to the fact of who and what we are. That's it. That's period. That's pretty simple. And we make a choice to discover that, or in some cases rediscover it. And once we begin to do that, once we go in within, we don't leave. We keep going deeper and deeper within. It's not like, you're oblivious to everything around you and you're like, a deer in the headlights of a car. You're just kind of like, I'm curious. I want to find out about all this, all that is within. I already know pretty much what's out there because I had a lot to do with creating it, and you did. And you continue to create. We all do. It's not like, okay, so we created that, we shut down the creation factor. Oh, no. It's on 24/7, always. And I know that you've experienced at times so far in this life of yours where you're thinking of something, right? Just kind of thinking about something. And you don't have a worry or stress or fear about it. You're just focused on it, right? It just comes in and you focus on it. And the next thing you know, it manifests. And you say something like, goodness gracious, I was just thinking about that, and here it is. You see, that's not happenstance. That's the true power of who and what you are. It's all set up, mind you. Everything's set up. You've got the theater, you've got the easel, you've got the canvas. It's all set there for you. All you got to do is, in detail, focus on what you want, not what you don't want. But if you're never taught that, how in the heck are you going to ever discover it? Super challenging. No one ever told you about that when you were growing up. They might have made suggestions, but they themselves weren't there with it at all. But they were, made those suggestions. It's like someone might say to you, you say to them, well, have you ever experienced this you're telling me about? And they go, no, not really, but I think it would be a good idea for you. See? See? You say, well, how could you be suggesting to me something as crucial as this, because it usually is crucial, without you have ever experienced it? We do that, though. We do that because we look for advice and we ask other people, what would you do in my situation? How many times have you found yourself doing that? What would you do in my situation? And then you might get a response, I don't know, that's a tough one, right? Not the response you were looking for, but you get it. I don't know what I would do. And then you say, well, that's great, that doesn't help me any. You just turn within and you say, okay, so what is it? What do I do to shift out of this crap? Stinking thinking. Focus on what I want right away. You focus on what you want. Not out of stress, okay? Not out of worry, not out of fear, but out of ease. Because you move into the now, just like you do on these meditations every day. You move into the now. You focus on what it is you want. I know people that have written it down before meditation. They write it down because they want to make sure that they're as detailed as they possibly can be. Not anal, but detailed. And then when they go into that meditative state and they're in the now, they send it to the universe. They don't verbally quote it, but they look at it and they send that to the universe. This is what I currently want. Period. Boom. And you run it through. And you leave it alone. You don't question it. You don't doubt it later. You don't wonder or worry about it later. You just let it go. That's how you manifest. Because, see, the danger of visiting it again is because unless you have mastered your ego mind, it's going to come in and you're going to start doubting it. And it won't happen. It will not manifest. This is what happens to the majority of us. We can't figure, it's like someone will say they can't figure it out. I did all the right things and everything, but it never happened. Why? Because you doubted it. That's a crucial thing for us, because not that we're doing that on purpose. It's just it's built in. Because who's been the boss for every single lifetime? Ego mind. And all it's doing is looking for peace. See? And of course, it's so insecure that it never finds peace, because it's always wanting something, and it believes that getting something that it's wanting will satisfy it, and it'll be at peace. Oh, yeah, maybe for a little bit, but then it's back to it. Back to it. This is why some of us on this planet that are very well off don't ever feel it's enough. See? Because remember, no matter what it is that you have in this material physical world, can be taken away. That's bottom line. I don't care if you've got, a 50 gigaplex of wealth. You wake up the next morning, it'll be gone. And that's not a joke, and that's not an exaggeration. And then that which cannot be taken from us, why would we ever worry about it? We wouldn't. No matter what. The God that you are cannot be taken from you. Ever. Period. But everything else can. And some of us have experienced that. Others are scared to death of it. So they get overly protective and hoarding and possessing and keeping and hoarding, possessing and keeping because they're constantly worried and fearful that they won't have it. Isn't that crazy? But that's the truth. We can get ourselves worked into that so heavily that we're constantly negating the wealth that we currently carry. And when I say carry, that's exactly what we do. We carry the wealth. And that wealth can be taken away in a split second. So what is the New Earth direction? The New Earth direction is helping each other. Why is that? Because what happens is that what do you think is going to happen when everybody on this planet is wealthy? And mostly heart-minded. It's not going to be anything like it is now. This is the only way, too. Other ways have been tried for billions of years, didn't work. You going to keep doing something that doesn't work? Why would we keep doing something that doesn't work? We experience, sure. So we experience and say, oh no, we're not going to do that. We already did that. We already went at that. That didn't work. All right, so let's keep going until we unanimously hit something that works. And being in the now, through billions and billions of years, no matter what was attempted, it was always discovered that going into the now and discovering who and what you are within these bodies is what true peace is all about. Is when you stop running and chasing and hurrying, doing and doing and doing and doing. And I'm not talking about everybody sits around and it's just a bump on the log and just rots away. No, it just means that you're active all the time, but it doesn't mean physical activity. What it means is that you're focused and your concentration is on what you want. And this is a full-time occupation because you're manifesting constantly. It's not greed or anything about that, but there's little things here and there that you're manifesting. It's like someone says to you, they go, hey Alice, aren't you worried about the fact that you don't have money to pay your rent? Right? There's a lot of people like that right now. And Alice looks at her friend and says, I don't ever worry about money because I have a deep confidence, trust, and faith in myself and this universe, and I know that the universe has my back, and I've already asked for what I want that I can have manifested. Inevitability, something occurs, and the rent is taken care of. Now, I'm not talking about wishful thinking, okay, or randomized thinking. I'm talking about deep-hearted thinking. Think with the heart-mind, communicating with the God that you are. Not thinking with the ego mind, then you're going to continually worry, and then you won't have the rent, and then you'll be evicted. It's how you are with you. Nobody else. How you are with you. And that's how things get online. With you. Your vibrational frequency increases. Like attract like. Right? So you begin to attract people and things into your life on higher vibrational frequency. It isn't rocket science. Is it very challenging for many? Absolutely. It takes everything they got to embrace that transition. Transcend. So in the quiet time of this meditation, ask yourself if you really, really, really know what total peace is for you. Join you in the meditation. I'll return to close this out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. An easy and slow breath out of the mouth. Remain still. Focused on your breath rising and falling. Just want to let people know that if you can access something on our website, quit the website. Don't close it, but quit your browser and relaunch it and try again. This usually takes care of the issue where you're getting a 404. Do this about once a week to clear the cache on your computer. Shouldn't have any problems after that. What is your karma? Do you believe in karma? If so, what karma are you still carrying? What are the hard, heavy, or stressful beliefs and feelings do you most need to let go of to feel ridiculously free? I mean, totally weightless. Just like your sky-like nature. You can find out what your karma is by simply sitting silently, doing nothing, and feeling what's the biggest circus act playing inside of you. Get really curious, and you'll clearly see it all. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night the following morning. We will return here Sunday, August 25, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times. No matter what's going on within you nor outside of you. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.